Again, please let me know throughout this entire webinar if you guys have any questions or concerns. On today's webinar, we're going to be going over the POS integrations, and this is how to pull the POS integrations. So there's 3 things that when you're integrated with Restaurant Systems Pro to your POS system that we're able to pull. One of the things is going to be under daily paperwork. You're able to pull the end of day report. Under labor systems, if you missed yesterday's webinar, we went ahead and showed you how to pull the POS timesheet, or my apologies, I went ahead and showed you how to pull the MGP POS Import. That's your PMIX report from your POS system. And then we will go over today on how to pull the POS timesheet under labor system, and that's from your reverse labor system. So right now I'm in a demo system, and the first section that I want to go over is the end of day POS timesheet. So under daily paperwork, I'm going to go to manage end of day POS, EOD POS, and then from there, this is what the page looks like. Now, if you do not see that button, but you are integrated, please reach out to us on support, or you can go ahead and give me a call. My extension is 102. If I don't answer, please leave me a voicemail. That way we can get you set up. If you're unsure of the current POS systems that we're integrated with, please reach out to us as well. If you did not know, we have a chat feature on the bottom left-hand corner of our screen. That chat is available for 10 hours a day. And then also on the very bottom of any screen that you're on, you're going to be able to see the training and technical support phone number, operating hours, as well as email. So let's get back to the manage end of day POS. So manage end of day POS, the foundation to it is the mapping. So before we get started and start pulling all of this information, we need to make sure that our entire system is mapped out. So I'm going to click on the green icon in the middle of my screen that's called Manage Mapping POS RFP End of Day. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then from there, it takes you to this window. So we have a couple different things that we need to go ahead and map out. The first section that you guys see is going to be the RFP End of Day type name. So this is what our categories are named in our system. If you notice under your actual end of day report, if you've ever manually entered that, it's the exact same categories. Your sales category, your accounts payable. Accounts payable is money that you're holding, but it's not actually yours. Your deductions, your discounts, and then we also have our payment methods. You can see to the right of that, we have our POS type name. We have sales, accounts payable, deductions, and payments. The first thing that we need to do before we get started, and this restaurant is already mapped out, but I'll show you how, is you're going to click on under the action column, you would click on this edit icon. And you'll see if something's not mapped out, it will be blank under the POS type name. So we're going to click on the edit icon. And then from there, it brings you up with this drop-down box. Again, if this system was not mapped out, it would be blank under the POS type and would look just like this. What you would want to do to actually map it out is you would click on this drop-down box and you would select which correlating category for that specific end of day type. So for this one, it would be sales because it's the sales category. Once you're done, you just want to go ahead and make sure you click save, and you want to do that for each section. Now, after we went ahead and mapped out the actual POS type versus our end of day category, we're going to click on this little arrow icon to the left. Now, that little arrow icon, you're going to see that quite often in Restaurant Systems Pro, but that always means that there's further information. So we went ahead and clicked on that, and then from there, it gives us our RSP end of day category. So these are going to be our cost of goods sold categories. Under POS category, you'll see we have food, liquor, NA beverage, beer, dozen oysters, wine, and then retail for this particular restaurant. To map it out, if it's not already mapped out, again, the POS category will be blank if it's not mapped out, and you would click on the edit icon. The bottom drop-down box would look just like this. It would be blank for the POS type. You would click on that drop-down box, and then from there, you can see we have 3 different options that are not currently mapped out. the all items, the gift cards, as well as retail. This specific category needs to be coded into retail. So I would click on it, and then again, I'm going to click Save. I suggest you open up every single section and make sure that each section is mapped out. You can see the accounts payable does not have any mapping for the gift cards sold. Again, I'm going to click on the edit icon under Action, click on this drop-down box, and you'll see this specific drop-down box is blank. So that means that in their POS system, that their gift card sold is coded differently. It's not under accounts payable. I believe, if I noticed correctly, I believe it was under sales type for whatever reason. So for whatever reason, this specific restaurant's gift card sold is actually coded in their POS system under sales category instead of accounts payable. So that is the reason why we're not actually able to map out that gift card sold or banquet charges or the cash payout, any of that information. Again, you're going to open up each section and make sure that it's all mapped out. Now, for this specific restaurant, because the gift card sold is not mapped out, what you will have to do until you get that fixed on your POS end is you're going to have to manually still get that entered until you do fix your POS system and code that to the correct category, which in this case for gift card sold, that would be under accounts payable. So once I'm done mapping out, I can actually start pulling my end of day report. I'm going to go to the back icon or click on the back icon. And then from there, to actually pull this information, what you're going to do is you're going to click on Get Data from Omnivore. It's going to be the only blue icon on this window. I'm going to click on that icon, and let's just say that we want to go ahead and pull the end of day report from yesterday. I would go ahead and select the date or the calendar box, whatever you'd like to call it. I would select the day that I want to pull. For this example, I want to pull the 19th. And then from there, I'm going to click on Get List Ticket from Omnivore. From here, you're going to go ahead and allow it to wait or to load. And then you can see these are all of your POS tickets. The easiest way to double check all of this information is to view by category, because it looks a little bit more similar to what you guys are used to, which is going to be the actual end of day report. So when I viewed it by category instead of by list ticket, this is exactly what it looks like. You can see I don't have my mapping done for the gift card sold or anything like that. So if I did sell it, it did not generate when I pulled this report. You can see the discount is 0 right now, but if I did have discount and if it was mapped out to the incorrect POS type, then I would have to still manually get that entered. So please note, although you are integrated, if something does not align up with your POS system, you will still have to manually get that entered. Now, after I've double checked my information, I'm going to click on Save Data to RSP System. From there, it should tell you that it saved data successfully, and there's one last step that you need to do. You're going to click on that back icon, and then from there, it takes you back to this main page. On this main page, you should see for the date range that you just pulled. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this part. There's a couple different things that this should automatically tell you. Do you see how it says posted end of day versus not posted end of day? So basically, if it was not posted into your actual end of day report, it would go ahead and show up as 0 under posted end of day. As soon as we do post it, all of number 13 should transfer over to this column instead. So that's how I know that someone went from start to finish to pull this POS integration information. So what I'm going to do last is I'm going to click on Update. And when I click Update, it's going to ask you, do you want to update 319 data from POS to end of day? You would go ahead and click Yes or OK. And then it should tell you that it's successful. Now, if you noticed, it originally told me 13, but now when I actually posted it, it says 11, which does not match up to the total records of 13. You can see I have 2 sections that aren't mapped out. So what I want you to do from here is I want you to click on this arrow icon, and it will tell you exactly what was not pulled. So we had a gift card sold for $85, or I'm sorry, we had a gift card sold in a Grubhub that was not posted right over here. So now I can go ahead and manually get that entered into my end of day report. So I'm going to go back into my end of day report. From here, I'm going to scroll down until we find the 19th and double click on it. And like I said, if we did have anything that did not go ahead and feed through, like our comps and discounts, we can go ahead and get that entered now. And now that I double checked, this actual restaurant did not actually have any comps or discounts for this particular day. Let me just make sure I have their original end of day report pulled up as well. Yep, so they don't have anything, but if you did, you would go ahead and get that entered right over here or wherever section. Save that, and that's all you have to do to pull the Manage End of Day POS if you're integrated with your POS system to restaurantsystemspro.net. Any questions or concerns? All right. Give me one moment. Let me just double check if my Facebook Live is working now. And it is not. All right. So the next step that I want to show you is going to be how to pull reverse labor systems. Under labor systems, I'm going to go to POS timesheet. Under POS timesheet, you can see this is what the page looks like. Again, just like the end of day POS integration, the very first thing that you need to do is double check your mapping. I'm going to click on Manage Mapping Position and User, and you should see automatically that says warning, 16 employees and 8 positions are not mapped out to their POS to Restaurant Systems Pro. So I'm going to click on that icon, and we're going to figure out what we need to map out. So you can see on this one, it's a lot more different columns because those are your positions. So depending if you have 1 position or if you have 10 of them, and that's what you're going to see on this main page. You can see under RSP position type or position name right over here that some of these positions in RSP are not mapped out to the positions in your POS system. So if you need to map out, let's just say kitchen, for example, you would click on that edit icon. From there, it gives you with a drop-down box. You would select the drop-down box, and it looks like kitchen. Let's just say that that's kitchen manager salary. I would go ahead and save that, and then that's how I map out my POS position names to my RSP position names. Excuse me. If I scroll down, you can actually see they do have line cuts. Some of these may not actually be in use right now, but they are in their POS system, which is why everything may not be mapped out. Now, a second thing that I'd like you to pay attention to is the totals on the right-hand side. So there's a total under employees, and there's a under mapped employees right over here. So what this is telling me that is that I have in my POS system 35 servers for this example, but only 34 of them are mapped out. I suggest that you look at this report as well as this mapping, as well as your reverse labor mapping and your MPG mapping on a weekly basis so you're always caught up and it's always up to date. Because it says 1 employee is not mapped out, I'm going to go ahead and click on this arrow icon. From there, when I click on the arrow icon, you can see we have a bunch of different things that we'll see. We see a list of all of their employees under this specific position. And then from here, you can see a couple different things. The first thing I see is there's a couple employees in here that say inactive. So when you see that, I would like you to clean up your POS or your system. So what this means is they're still in your POS system, but they have been made inactive in RSP. So when that happens, you want to click on this trash can icon so we can delete the POS mapping. And you would continue doing that for any employees that have been let go. You would continue clicking on the delete icon or the trash can and taking them out. And that way your mapping is cleaned up. All right. And I can do that rest of that later. On the very bottom, you should see if there's any new employees, they typically generate on the very bottom. You can see Kimberly Brown. Her POS position name is Kimberly Brown, and she is not mapped out because under RSP position name is blank. So again, we would click on this edit icon. From there, if you named her the same exact in your POS system to RSP, it should automatically generate with what that item is or what that person's name is in the system. Now, if we called her Kim in the system, Kim Brown, instead of Kimberly Brown, she would not automatically generate this way, and you would have to click on this blank drop-down box and search for the employee. I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and when I click Save, you'll see under Servers that everyone should be mapped out. Now, for some reason, let me refresh my page, one moment. Awesome, and now you can see that Servers is mapped out. You would continue doing that for the rest of your POS positions to map them out to your Restaurant Systems Pro positions. Any questions on the POS timesheet so far? All right, so I'm going to click on this back arrow, and I'm going to show you how to actually pull this reverse labor or your real in and out clock times from your POS to Restaurant Systems Pro. What we want to do is we want to click on Redirect Data to Omnivore. Give me 1 second. All right, from here, we're going to click on Start Date. And if you're trying to pull this information, for example, yesterday, you would go ahead and click on that day, click and Get Data from Omnivore. And then from there, if there was any employees worked, you'll see all of their names. Now, just a heads up, this is a demo system, so it's not as realistic as your actual restaurant. So please keep that in mind, but it's the same exact concept. Now we're going to click on Save Data to RFP. And then from there, it should tell you that the item's inserted successfully. The last thing that we need to do is click on the back arrow. And then from there, you can see it says that there's 2 records, total invalid records, POS to RSP, and there has not been any posted yet. So the last thing that we need to do is click on this edit icon under Action. And then from here, if there's not post timesheet to reverse labor, it will show you right over here. You'll see not mapped employees positions. And these actually 2 employees aren't mapped, it looks like, for this particular position. Give me actually 1 second, guys. Let me actually show you on a day that employees did work. Okay, so I went to that main page after I pulled that information from Get Data from Omnivore. I'm going to search for the date range, and I'm going to click on the edit icon under Action. And then from here, if there was employees worked, the last step that you need to do is you need to go ahead and select all. You're going to scroll down. If you notice, under Start and End Time, this is their real in and out clock time for the day of 3/10/2020 for this particular example. I'm going to scroll down. And then from here, the last thing that you need to do is you can either add all checked records or add all records. So let me just make sure before I go ahead and save this that won't mess up anything that's already in the system. So give me 1 moment, guys. Awesome. So I'm not actually going to click on this icon just because I don't want to mess up anything in the demo system. But the last thing that you would need to do is click on Add Checked Records or Add All Records. You don't need to select all if you don't want to. Then what that does is go ahead and pull that reverse labor into your actual system. And once you're done, you'll be able to see under this main page that should tell you everyone that actually posted, and then how many people did not get posted. And then if you want to figure out why, you just click on the edit icon under action, and you'll see under not mapped employees why these employees did not pull. They're not mapped out to any position yet. Now, please keep in mind, although we are integrated, the very last thing that you need to do is, if you have an employee that was scheduled but did not work for that shift, you still have to go into reverse labor systems and manually take out their schedule. So I would go into reverse labor systems after I pulled the integration. I would select the day. From there, I would click on, let's just say, the server position, for example. And then I just want to double check that there's no one that has an exact time in here. So you can see Kelsey Morgan on this particular day. It says that she clocked in at 5 p.m. and left at 8:30. We just want to question ourselves because it is the exact time for both beginning and end time, if she really worked. If she did not, we would have to double click on it. And then from there, we would have to manually get that taken out, just like this. Save that, and then continue double checking your reverse labor to make sure we did not miss anyone that was scheduled but did not work. So please note, again, you have to pull them out of reverse labor manually if they were scheduled and did not work that shift. Any questions on the POS timesheet? All right. Now, the last section I want to go over is going to be your MGP POS Import. Now, yesterday, we went ahead and already went over this for about 35 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick recap. I'm not going to go as far in depth because, again, we did do this yesterday. So under Food Systems, I'm going to go to MGP POS Import. If you're wondering what that is, there's two different reasons why you would use the Menu Profit Generator POS Import. You would use it for a menu analysis, or you would use it for your usage report. And if you have not already started the usage report, I suggest you do that as soon as possible so you know that your cost of goods sold is accurate. So once I go to the POS timesheet, this is what the main page looks like, recipe data. So you can see the last date range that was pulled. Oops, give me 1 second. You can see the last date range that was pulled. We have funnel icons, so you can filter by PLU number. Now, although you can map out by PLU number, you can still map out by name if your POS system does not have a PLU number. A PLU number is a product lookup code or a product lookup number. We have our recipe name and our RSP recipe name. Just wanted to give you guys a quick tip. Right over here is your POS item type. I never go based off of people's menu because we often find working with members that, let's just say that this bowl of seafood gumbo is $8.49 in their POS system, but sometimes we find that this product is, let's just say that was $7.49 in their actual menu itself. So I always trust the POS item price first. Now, the good thing about this is, let's just say that your recipe costing cards, if you remember correctly, your recipe costing cards for item recipes, which is the plate itself, everything that you sell in your menu is an item recipe. If, let's just say that there is a hostess that's doing your recipe costing cards and she doesn't know the price, instead of grabbing your menu, she can always look for the item over here. And then right there under this column, she'll be able to see the price, so she can easily get this all entered at once. So just wanted to give you a quick tip on that. To actually map out the system, you would go to mapping recipe by PLU or mapping recipe by name. I believe this specific restaurant or demo system is mapped out by PLU number. Again, a PLU number is a product lookup code. From here, you can see everything on the very top is not mapped out. So I have 92 items that are not mapped out. On the very bottom of this, I have 143 items that are mapped out. Please note, anything that's an add-on that has an upcharge price does have to have a correlating recipe costing card. even if it's just a 3-ounce portion of rice, for example, but you sell it for $2. If it's a modifier in your system, that you're not going to go ahead and map it out. So any modifiers, let me see if I can find any. Like let's just say Friday is a modifier, then you would not map that out. So to actually map out your POS does not matter if it's by PLU or by name. All you have to do is you're going to click on the edit icon. And if your recipe costing card in Restaurant Systems Pro is the exact same name as your POS system, then it should automatically generate the way it did for the POS timesheet, for example. Even if there's a slight difference in abbreviation or whatever it may be, it will not automatically map out. So you're going to have to manually search for that item. If that recipe costing card's in there, then you can go ahead and select it. This is not supposed to be correlating with each other, but just for the sake of this demo, I will go ahead and just map it out and then delete it afterwards. Again, just to show you guys. You would go ahead and save this, and then it would map out, and you would continue doing that for the rest of these items. Now, another great tool that you can use for this is, after I'm done double checking every single item that I need to get mapped out, whatever is remaining, that now gives me a list of missing recipe costing cards in our system. Under send date, you can see where it says March 10th, 2020. That means this is this past, the previous week that we've actually sold this chicken sandwich. So that means if I pull my usage report and this is not mapped out, you know, whatever I'm using for that actual sandwich may be thrown off my usage report, ideal versus actual wise, because it's not mapped out. So you want to go ahead and make sure on a weekly basis that everything's mapped out. So once we're done, we're going to go back to this main recipe data page, and we're actually going to pull this information out. All I have to do is click on Get Recipe from Omnivore. From here, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the calendar box, select the day. So if you're Monday through Sunday, I'm going to start on Monday. Click Get Data from Omnivore. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and click Save. It should tell you that it inserted successfully. From there, you're going to click on the calendar box again and individually go through each day. So now I'd pull the 17th, get data from Omnivore, and let it load. And then from there, I'm going to save data to RSP systems and continue on for the rest of the week if I'm Monday through Sunday. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and not pull the rest of the week, just so I can show you I've already done that. Once you're done pulling the rest of the week, you're going to go back to this main page. You can click on the back arrow just like how I did, or you can click on MGP POS Import. From there, it shows me right over here everything that's not mapped out. So it gives me this total. But to actually pull this report so we can now use it in our user report, we're going to go to Report from POS. We're going to click on Add New File on the bottom grid. From here, you're going to click on File Name and enter the file name. I like to call it PMix, and then I'm going to put whatever date range that it is. So we're going to pull the 9th through the 15th. From here, after I've entered my file name, I'm going to select my beginning and end date. I'm going to click Load. From here, this is what your report looks like. If you'd like to find out further information, please view the recap of my mastermind call or my webinar from yesterday. Once I'm done pulling this information, I'm going to click Save. And then from there, all I have to do is go to my usage report. Under Food, Beverage, or Retail Systems, I'm going to select my beginning and end date. So for this example, I'm actually going to pull the 3rd through the 10th. Under File Import, I'm going to select that correlating PMix report. And unfortunately, I apologize. It looks like I did pull the wrong date range for this specific one. We're going to go ahead and just pretend like this date range and this date range all matches up. Please note, because I did pull the wrong report, the information that we're about to see will be inaccurate. But if you were to pull the correct date ranges, it would pull accurately. I'm going to click OK, load my report, and then now to the right of my screen, I'm going to scroll all the way to the right, you should have ideal. So your ideal is coming from your POS system, and your actual is coming from your actual usage in Restaurant Systems Pro, which is beginning inventory plus your purchases minus ending inventory to give you that actual usage. And you can see for, let's just say, for example, this crab finger. Actually, let me give you another example. So this ribeye slip-on, we used 21 pounds, but according to our PMix report, we're only supposed to use 1 pound. So did we forget to inventory that item? Possibly we did not map out an item that uses that ribeye lip-on, or it could be that, we could be missing our beginning inventories wrong. It could be our ending inventories that's wrong, and you could keep in mind also other things like your purchase. If you did have a purchase, it may throw off your system if you did not get that entered. So those are the 3 different integration types that we have. If you guys have any questions or concerns, again, please call support at 866-517-9993, or you can email support@restaurantsystemspro.net, or email me directly at Brittany, BRITNEY, @restaurantsystemspro.net. I hope you guys have a wonderful, safe day, and I look forward to talking to you guys all soon. Thank you so much. Bye.